This is a WGNS Action Line. Talking with Rutherford County newsmakers for 78 years. This is a WGNS Action Line with Scott Walker.
In studio with us right now, we do have Zane Cantrell, who is a bee. I don't know what the correct title would be.
Beekeeper.
Bee everything. So how are you this morning?
Great. How are you this morning?
I'm good. In the world of bees, what is the latest news? What's happening right now?
Well, thank you, Scott, for having me this morning. This is a very special time of the year for beekeepers. I still consider myself a hobbyist beekeeper, even though I've been keeping bees for years. But there are two things that we really need to talk about. There's the swarm season and the honey flow. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the swarm season, which usually starts at the end of March and all the way through April up until May, and you still have swarms coming in June. Now, the reason that bees swarm is to propagate the species, to make sure that this is a natural part of their life cycle. About half of them leave the hive with a new queen and try to find another home. And what they do is they show up in your backyard on one of your trees on a limb. They send out scouts looking for a home, and we don't want that home to be inside of your house.
I would prefer not.
And it's too late when that happens. And I would encourage anyone, as soon as they see a swarm in their backyard on a tree, call a beekeeper immediately. Call me. I'm listed on the website at the Lane Ag Center and also Tennessee Beekeepers Association and the Rutherford Beekeepers Association. My services are free. I come and I'll get those bees before they get into your house or somebody else's house, a barn, or something that way. They send scouts out immediately looking for a new home.
I think the last thing I want to think about is a swarm of bees at my house or in my house. That would be worse. Some people are deathly allergic to bees too.
Yes. If you get to them before they get into somebody's home or a place they shouldn't be, that's no problem. But once they get into your house, you have to have a specialist who is really a good carpenter, who knows how to get into a house. Sometimes it takes several days to get all those out. And their services are not free. Now, mine are free. And I can always advise people. If they send me a picture of their bees, I can also advise them on what they need to do. Often, like this past week, I've had 2 calls, but they were too late. They were into somebody's house already, and then they've got to search around. They may have to get a contractor to pull off sidings or rock or something of that way, so it gets very expensive. Then they got to have a specialized beekeeper to come in, and he has a vacuum. They vacuum them out, and sometimes it takes several days to get them all out of there, especially the queen. If you don't get the queen out of there, you're going to have bees coming right back in.
Man, so I don't really think about this kind of stuff a whole lot, but with a house, if they get in the house and under the siding, or if they get in the house and, behind the sheetrock or something, which would be much worse, how in the world do you go about getting them out? I mean, do you have to literally tear apart the sheetrock to get to them?
Yes, and unfortunately, you don't know exactly where they make their nest. It could be in between floors. Just because they go in behind the sheetrock or something, you don't know exactly where they are. So you're cutting out a lot of your sheetrock, a lot of your building in order to get to it. And that's why you need a contractor to come in there, because he knows how to cut it out and he knows how to put it back in. So those contractors are not cheap in getting that done. That's a very expensive process. But if you can get to them before they get their scouts back, then we can mitigate the problem.
So is this really that big of an issue in Rutherford County?
It is. Quite often I get calls, it's too late, folks, I can't help you. But I'll try to get somebody that can. And very few people want to do that anymore. Several years ago, when I was younger, I would do that. But it's just so time consuming. You tear up so much of a person's house. I'm just not willing to do that anymore. And you don't find many people, many beekeepers that really know what they're doing are willing to do that.
So once you get in there and you find where the source of the bees, okay, they're all right here. Once you figure that out, what do you do to get them out?
You have to have specialized equipment. You've got to take out all of the comb and all of the honey that's been stored there. Then you have what we call a bee vacuum. And that bee vacuum vacuums out all of the bees without hurting the bees. And you have them in a box where they go into where they can't get out of. That's another part of the specialized. And then the whole process, it sounds simple, but it's not. But it takes 2 or 3 days to do that, to get them all out of there and to make sure you've got the queen. And you've got to go back and check again to make sure that you've got them all out. And another part of this, when bees are swarming, they have a tendency to follow each other. So you've got to stop up the hole where they came in from the outside to make sure swarms don't get back in there again.
So once you get the initial bunch of bees out of there, do some instinctively come back? I mean, the ones you don't actually vacuum up, do they actually come back?
Yeah, and just remember, you've got scouts out there, outside. You've got foragers outside, and they keep coming back. Say you pull them out today, all those foragers will come back by tonight. So you've got to go back in there and get the foragers, get the scouts who are out looking for nectar and looking for honey. So that's part of the whole process, and that's why it takes so long. And a lot of folks don't realize that. Even though you get all of the bees that are in there right now, you've got bees that are coming back by night who are ready to put honey back into those combs that you've already cut out.
How smart, how intelligent are these bees? I mean, to go back and forth to the same spot and everything.
They know exactly where their home is. They hone in on that. They're very intelligent, more so than what humans give them credit for. And a lot of it's instinctive. It's born into their genes over years and years of being a bee. So, and then they can smell things that we can't smell. So they can follow a trail in the air as long as it's been there for a little while. They follow themselves right back into where that is, and they follow swarms that way. One swarm's gone, another one comes along.
How long do they live? If you don't get them out of your house, how long do these bees live?
Okay, that's a really good question. What we need to remember is that bees live, a working bee lives anywhere from 30 to 45 days, and they die. But the queen is laying 1,500 to 1,000 eggs every day.
Every day?
Every day. So that's replenishing all of the bees that pass away.
So they may have 1,000 babies within a day or so.
That's right. 21 days. When they lay the eggs, 21 days. But they're doing that every day. You've got all those bees that are coming right back.
So after they lay the eggs, how many typically survive out of that, let's say, 1,000 number?
Okay, all of them survive.
All of them, man.
Yeah. They're well taken care of. They have bees that do nothing but take care of the baby bees. They feed them, make sure that everything is clean. If they need help in coming out of the wax, they help them do that. You've got nearly 100% survival rate of every one of those.
So you've got this bee nursery going on inside your walls.
That's exactly right. That's what it is. It's a bee nursery.
And how long does it take these, baby bees to develop? I mean, within a week, are they flying?
21 days.
That's the 21-day period.
Where they come out of there and they become then the bees that take care of the nursery.
These bee nests, these bee swarms within your walls, they can literally swell from, let's say, starting at, 100 bees in the beginning, and then next thing you know, you got 2,000.
Yeah, usually a typical swarm will have about 3,000 bees in it. So when they come in there, they're already pretty large.
That's a lot.
And within 21 days, once they find a spot, 21 days, they start hatching out. Then every day after that, about 1,000 to 1,500 bees every day after that.
How dangerous is this for somebody who's got a family member allergic to bees? I mean, do these bees, are they the kind that are going to sting you? Do they go after you? What do they do?
No, they don't. They will protect their home, so you have to be careful of that. And you don't want honeybees in your house anyway.
Yeah, I don't.
If they stay there for a long, long time, you've got honey that all of a sudden starts melting out of your walls.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's another problem altogether.
Yeah, you want to get them out as soon as you can.
When you get the bees out of these homes, you take them where?
Take them to your apiary, wherever your apiary is, and that's where you have all your bees at your house.
Okay.
That's what I do. When I pick up a swarm, I take them to my house. I usually put a little sugar water on them to get them started, and then they will pick up on their own, especially this time of year. Now, what you've got to remember, beginning May the 1st, is what we call the honey flow. That's where bees are going out and getting nectar. There's so much nectar out there that they can share that by making honey. For the next 6 weeks or so till the middle of June, this is what we call the honey season. If you're going to have a good crop of honey, it will come between May the 1st and the middle of June. This is the honey season, and I'm like the old farmer. I don't know how much honey I'm going to have until the middle of June. And I'll go in and check, and I'll make sure I have plenty of supers on mine. Supers are where they put their honey that we can harvest.
I know we don't have a ton of time this morning, but in your traditional bee season, how much honey have you, what's the most you were able to put together based on your bees?
In my case, I only have about 10 hives.
Okay.
I used to have as many as 30 or 35, and that worked me to death.
But 10 hives, that's like 30,000 bees, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, you're going to have 50 or 60,000 bees in each one of those hives, up to even 750,000. So those big hives, strong hives, they're going to have a lot of bees in it, and they're going to be collecting a lot of nectar within that 6 weeks period. But you have to remember, if they're going to be able to have extra honey where you can pull a super off, it'll be between May the 1st and the middle of June.
So you're getting ready for all of this.
I went into every one of my bees. I've got 10 hives. I went into every one of them yesterday, and every one of them were already producing honey, and I had to put a new super on every one of them.
And this is a big project for you. I mean, you're retired now, right?
I am retired.
This is your hobby right here.
It is a hobby. And I don't make any money on it. I just try to break even. So many of our supplies that you have to buy now have skyrocketed. I don't know why. I try to break even every year. I'm not making any money off of honey.
Now, there was a time where we heard news report after news report. We heard people talking about it, just saying the number of bees are going down. Is that still something that is happening?
Yes, it is. It's still happening. Just a quick little story. In California, almonds, about 75% of the almonds worldwide that are sold are produced in California. Only honeybees can pollinate almonds.
I didn't know that.
They have to have 1 million hives out there where they have all those almonds. And they are begging for people to come out, bring their hives. They're paying up to $200 to $250 per hive for you to bring your hives into they're having a hard time getting enough. Now, the almond season is over with. This has been 3 months ago. But they had a hard time getting 1 million hives in there.
I bet. Now, this is one of the many reasons that almonds are so expensive, I guess.
It is.
And the price is going up because the bees are going
up
down.
on almonds. And when you consider 75% of all sales of almonds come out of California.
Yeah.
And when they're short, a shortage of things like that, price normally goes up.
Again, Zane Cantrell with us today. So as we start to wrap up the show, what are some key things that folks should know about bees and being a beekeeper?
Okay, this important part about bees, honeybees. They are pollinators, and where you have them in your community, they will make all your shrubs, all your plants, all your flowers healthier and more colorful. So it's a good thing that we still have hobbyist beekeepers like myself who are willing to take on the responsibility and hard work of keeping bees alive. So that's very important. One other thing I'd like to share with you, this year, again, this will be in October, the Tennessee Beekeepers Association, this is statewide, will be here in Murfreesboro for a conference. This is in October. They will be at MTSU. We appreciate MTSU having us on their campus in October. We'll have beekeepers coming from all over the state of Tennessee. So we're looking forward to these things.
That's neat. Now, I know you said your phone number, your contact info is available on the Beekeepers website.
Yeah, it's 615-210-9991.
And they've got your number, the Lane Agri Park as well.
Yes,
so
they
if
do.
Somebody calls there, they can, hey, I need to get a hold of Zane. We got a bee problem here.
Yeah, just call me and be ready to send me a picture of what you have. That saves a lot of time. It also tells me what I need to bring in order to capture those bees.
Again, I didn't know there was actually an issue with people having bees, basically the walls of their home, sometimes in the basement, I guess crawl space as well.
Yes. And you got to remember, these are just calls to me. I don't know how many other calls go to other beekeepers, but at least 5 to 10% of the calls I get are already too late. They're in somebody's house. So if you see a swarm out on your trees, call a beekeeper immediately.
And you're able to take these bees in a humane way so that they're still able to make honey as opposed to somebody just going out there and killing them, because that does happen too.
It's almost impossible for you to kill 3,000 bees. So
it would scare me away to see 3,000 bees.
Yes, you're going to get stung all over. So the best thing for you to do is call a beekeeper, and we'll take care of it.
I think that's everything everybody needs to know right there in 20 minutes, right there. All about
Thank
bees.
you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on. Again, Zane Cantrell, beekeeper here in the Murfreesboro area. We appreciate you joining us.
WGNS Murfreesboro, celebrating 78 years of being your good neighbor station.
Murfreesboro is a big enough city with a dense enough population where a recycling program could flourish.
Middle Point Landfill's Mike Klassen.
We're proposing and committing to building, operating, and growing recycling programs at the Middle Point Landfill facility in conjunction with the county and hopefully with participation with the cities in Rutherford County too.
Middle Point's trying hard to work with local government in order to start a recycling program.
We're ready to make a change there.
The answer's here. Middle Point Landfill.
Hi, I'm Lee Colvin, your Edward Jones financial advisor. And while you've heard the saying, slow and steady wins the race, that same concept can be applied to long-term investing. Investing a little bit at a time on a regular basis can really add up. We call this systematic investing, and though it doesn't guarantee a profit or prevent a loss, it's a way to take advantage of market volatility instead of enduring it. Give me a call, Lee Colvin, at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, member SIPC.